Interesting. Okay, so a lot to unpack here over the next few moments. So you have a new thing called Magazine Jukebox. You have a history of entrepreneurial experiences. I want to get into all of that. Your quick 30-second elevator pitch of what Magazine Jukebox is, and then a plethora of other questions to come out afterwards.
All right, so you got to do the 1, 2, 3, go. All right, I'm just kidding. So 30 seconds. We are a digital magazine rack for commercial spaces. So if you can imagine the doctor's office or imagine a car dealership or a hotel, you want to be able to go and enjoy a magazine. Well, in the digital era, we know that digital's in demand, and with COVID, they wanted to create less touch points. And so we invented this product that really has just been making huge traction. And, we're excited to share that with you guys. But essentially, it's a code. You scan a code, turns your cell phone or smart device into a magazine. You get to enjoy the magazine without paywalls, without downloading an app, without having to give information. And you get it just like you would back in the day where you just walk in the doctor's office, grab a magazine.
So I'm thinking about the dentist office that I went to, or like the 3-hour wait that I waited at the doctor for my annual visit this past year, something like that. I didn't touch anything. I've become a super germaphobe and things like that. But like, do they still have magazines there? So people are still.
Yeah. No. So COVID stripped them away. But what's interesting is that what we learned is that now as things are starting opening back up, that they don't want them back. So magazines are great. I love magazines. That's really where the passion came from. I like magazines. We use a word in our company called infotainment, and it's really just a matter of, people don't run out to say, oh man, that store has a magazine, I want to go check it out. But when they're in a place where there's magazines available, they're willing to check it out because they're excited about it, or there's something on the cover, something grabbed their attention. And I mean, if you're anything like me back in the day, gosh, man, I used to go to Barnes & Noble and I would do the magazine stack where you grab 5, 6, 10 magazines and you put it on the table, grab your cup of coffee, and, it makes it look like I'm actually reading, but I'm really just looking at pictures. But we wanted to create something that, as these doctors' offices are basically saying, hey, we don't want it. We don't want them back. And but they want magazines available. I mean, these rooms just look barren. They're just empty. And so when we started pitching this to some businesses, man, it was instant traction. They wanted it, and we were just like super excited to be a part of this.
How does it work from a royalty standpoint? So do you have like a two-sided marketplace then in terms of the magazines that you're showcasing? Do they get a cut? How does all that work?
Yeah, so I don't want to give away all my secrets. No, I can't. It's fine. So
the proprietary system of Scott Janney.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we are patent pending, so anybody out there will get you. As far as if you're in regards to revenue, I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Like, how are we going to make revenue off of this, or how do we make money off of this? Or are you asking specifically to magazines?
Yeah, I mean, I would just assume that. Do you feature like I don't know, People Magazine or something, and then do they get is there a revenue share in terms of 500 people read this article, and then you have to give them a percentage, just like if you were just like music. ASCAP or something.
So we figured this out, man, and this is what's super exciting. So all you publishers watching this, we want to talk to you. But so first of all, we're absolutely free for publications to be on our platform. They actually don't charge us anything to be on our platform as well, because really magazines look for two different sources of revenue. The first source of revenue is simple, it's subscriptions. And then the second one is viewership, which is where they're going to be able to charge their advertisers on their magazines. Mm-hmm. So we actually supply a massive connect for them to new eyes on their magazines. I mean, if you think about it right now, if you didn't walk into Barnes & Noble, which, by the way, Barnes & Noble not only removed all their magazines, but they made a statement back in June that they're not coming back in 500 of their 600 locations, which was really kind of a bummer for me in some ways, because I remember that's where I was inspired, to become an entrepreneur. But it was the thing is that they need, and they're hurting for new eyes. How are they going to be able to get their magazines in front of someone that they know nothing. They never heard of the magazine. For example, I learned of a magazine called oh shoot, now I can't think of it. But we'll use like Car and Driver, right? So many of the younger generation right now, they've never read Car and Driver. They don't know about Car and Driver magazine. And now we're giving them an option in the places where they wait, where they're going to be able to see it. But where our technology kicks in is that we actually protect the publishers, that they can't take that magazine with them, but for so long. So they're only able to take it with them for up to 48 hours, and then it times it out. They would have to go back into that location and scan our code and validate again that they're in that location in order for it to work. So that's really where the sauce, that special sauce came in for these magazine publishers. And it was crazy. Like this whole thing, when we started this concept and this idea, I really envisioned that we were going to go and pitch it to publishers, I started at the top, and I just assumed that they would push us down to a regional level and say, well, go get some traction, get some, see how it works, and let's see if you can do anything. And then maybe we'll come on board. Little did we know or expect that the top publishers in the country were going to not only like us, but keep us up at the top. So we've been able to land the top 2 publishers in the country, and we continue to onboard more and more publishers. In fact, today I have another meeting with the vice president of a publication. I'll leave them nameless because we don't have a deal with them yet. But they heard about us, and they're coming. It looks like they're going to be coming on board. So we're excited about that too.
I was always shocked the first time I heard this, and even hearing it or repeating it again, just how many times something is recycled in a place. You go to a Barnes and Nobles, you buy the magazine as a consumer, and you read that once basically. But that thing in the right setting actually has so many times going through. I remember the first time like a magazine or like even a newspaper was trying to sell me advertising or something like that. And they were like, oh, that thing that you're touching right now actually goes through however many X amount of people. And I was like, BS, like, how does that happen? And then they explained it to me. Oh, well, doctor's offices and dentist offices and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never really thought of that. And a lot of it comes through there. And so it's cool to see that that's something that is that they're saying to you from a sponsorship standpoint, where the ads need to have those eyeballs on there. We're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a company called Waiting Room Subscription Services. Oh. And that has actually been part of the magazine industry for the last 30 years. And they actually specifically go to doctors and dental offices. And that was kind of a touching point with some of these publishers when we're talking, when I'm here, I am having a Zoom meeting with the vice president of, a Fortune 100 company. And we're talking to them. And that was kind of, like I said, it was a touchy subject because that's a line item to so many of these publishers. But now, after COVID, so many of them are getting out of that with that company because they know, prior to all this, right? So when we were creating this company, we wanted to make sure that we weren't creating something that was just COVID specific. We wanted something that was going to actually be able to go beyond COVID. And so we started doing a ton of research, and we noticed, give you a crazy stat, which you can find on Statista.com. But one of the stats is that we saw that e-readers from 2009, 2% of adults in America had e-readers. By 2019, which is pre-COVID, it was 52%. So we knew that digital was in demand far before COVID, and now anything that can go digital, we know will go digital. So I was just going to say, it's certainly a peculiar and interesting time, but that company is out there, and that's a lot of these publishers are having to work through that.
Are you stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at zackmillersays.com/Anomaly Academy.